Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to create bruises using the Skin Illustrator FX palette. Now this here is an alcohol activated palette, therefore you'll need to use either the specific activator that goes along with this palette or 99% alcohol. Nothing else will really cause it to work. You'll also be needing sponges. Now you can either choose to use more of a coral sponge, which is a bit of a softer stippling sponge, a black stipple sponge which has a lot of texture to it, or you can use a regular latex sponge that you can rip up the end or just apply really evenly. You'll kind of want to rip it up though to create a very texturized bruise that doesn't look too fake. You're also going to be needing 99% alcohol. I have mine in here in an old bottle. What we're first going to need to do is make sure that you have a clean surface. I've already cleansed my arm with some alcohol. Now you want to make sure that this dissipates completely first, otherwise it will mess with the paint that you then go in with. So basically the top of my lid is incredibly messy because this is what I use as a mixing palette. This particular one has blood tone, it has aged blood, bruise tone, which we'll be using a lot today, ultra blue, which we'll use a little bit, and you've got black, white, and then green, and then prime yellow, burnt orange, and prime red. I did actually purchase this palette off of CRC Makeup for all of my Australian viewers out there. All of these sponges can be found from Scotty's Makeup and Beauty, which is an Australian store. Their link can be found in the description box down below. Let's get started. So what we're going to start with is a very fresh bruise, one that has just happened, one that you can kind of still see the impact zone. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add a fair bit of alcohol to my bruise tone. Now you want to pretty much drench this. You don't want to just be spraying a tiny little bit, you want to pretty much drench it. I'm then just going to swirl the alcohol around in that paint just to kind of activate it, get it really in there. I'm just going to pop that onto my palette. You then want to take whatever sponge that you please, either the black, the orange, or create your own sponge by kind of pricking out little bits. I'm basically going to start with my black sponge because I find it's kind of the easiest for me to use and it gives a really fine texture that you can definitely build upon. So I'm going to go into that bruise tone. And I'm just going to start patting it right where I want the kind of impact zone to be. And it is important to note that these colours will actually show up on all different sorts of skin tone. It won't just be on light skin tones like myself. They are designed for all skin tones. I'm then going to take a little bit of the blood tone, just the tiniest amount, and then I'm just going to go around, kind of more focusing on the edges of that bruise tone. Now the blood tone will kind of replicate the broken capillaries, because basically a bruise is created upon when the skin is, hit forcefully and then the blood capillaries right underneath the skin burst and create this kind of burst-like effect. Then what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to spray my orange sponge, just one of the edges, with the alcohol. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of dissipate this a little bit, especially like blending out the edges with the alcohol. This is going to kind of tone it down a little bit, make it a little less gnarly. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But it'll kind of give it that kind of more blended out effect. I'm just going to spray a little bit of alcohol onto my white sponge here. I'm just going to use that to create a little bit of kind of an empty circle in the center, just to make it appear a lot more kind of raised and a little bit more swollen. There you go, like that. Makes it just look, so nasty. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of yellow, prime yellow. I'm going to swirl that around. I'm just going to kind of place this around the edges. So that's our second stage bruise, where we've kind of got a little bit more yellowing around the edges, but it's still, this could be a couple days after first making the bruise, all of that sort of thing. You've got kind of the bruise tone in there with a bit of the blood tone, a bit of the prime yellow tone around the edges. Now you don't have to make it as circular as mine, you can apply it in any way you want, but what I'm kind of showing you now is that it does not rub off at all, and this dried within a couple of seconds. So yeah, and it is super easy to remove. All you have to do is either take some paper towel, take some tissue, spray the area with the alcohol, and wipe away. So I've showed you stage 1 and stage 2 of bruise mode. Now I'm going to show you the kind of the nastiest of them all, which is stage 3. So this is basically when you have a healed bruise. This is when you've had a really nasty bruise, or you do bruise really easily. You're more likely to come across this specific stage of bruising. What we're first going to start off with is our prime yellow. And I'm going to start with my orange sponge. Now your third stage bruise will kind of be a little bit smaller than your first and second stage, as it is starting to heal. And we're also going to add a little bit of the green, and I'm going to use my black sponge. Then I'm going to go back in with the yellow just to kind of blend those two together. Then I'm just going to take that bruise tone again, and I'm going to really just focus that in the center. And then I'm just going to spray the edge of my white sponge with some alcohol and use it sort of as an eraser right in the center. Create that really nasty bruise-like effect. And there you go, we have a super nasty bruise. Oh, they're so gross. I absolutely adore making bruises, and you don't need this palette in order to create a bruise. All you really need is a purple eyeshadow, a yellow eyeshadow, a green eyeshadow, a deep red eyeshadow, and perhaps even a blue eyeshadow. Basically, you're just creating all sorts of different depth and tone in your skin that you don't need a fancy palette like this to do. You could use it with face paint, with a lot of water. You could use, as I said, the eyeshadows. You could use fancy lipsticks. But I really adore this palette because it gives you, long-lasting bruises that are super easy to put on, super easy to take off. You can build the opacity, and they just create this really realistic look that is just so durable. Like this is waterproof. This will only come off with alcohol. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Check out the description box for a list of the products used in this tutorial, as well as my contact links in case you want to chat to me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!